Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. I would like to share with you a deeper look at the laws of mourning that we observe for 33 days during the Omer, the time between Pesach and Shavuot. At the start of the month of Iyar, towards the middle of the Omer, we are all mourning. The Talmud relates that the 24,000 pupils of Rabbi Akiva died during 33 of the 49 days of the Omer because Shelo nahagu kavod zeh bazeh. They did not give one another enough respect, enough kavod. So at this time of the year, we don't have haircuts, men don't shave, we don't listen to music, have parties or have weddings. We might well ask why Rabbi Akiva's pupils failed so spectacularly and why we need to keep alive the memory of their failure with our mourning. Rav Nachman of Breslov gives a fascinating explanation. To understand it, we need first to understand what it was like to be one of Rabbi Akiva's pupils. The Talmud in Menachos 29b tells the following story. Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav, when Moses ascended on high to receive the Torah, he found the Holy One, blessed be He, sitting and tying crowns on the letters of the Torah. Moses said before God, Master of the universe, who is preventing you from giving the Torah without these additions? God said to Moses, there is a man who is destined to be born after several generations, and Akiva ben Yosef is his name. He is destined to derive from each and every point of these crowns mounds upon mounds of laws. Moses returned and came before the Holy One, blessed be He, and said before him, Master of the universe, you have a man as great as this, and yet you still choose to give the Torah through me. Why? God said to him, be silent, this intention arose before me. So the Torah explained by Rabbi Akiva was hidden. How he worked out laws from the crowns on the Sefer Torah was hidden, and the reason for him being chosen to reveal them was also hidden. When Rabbi Akiva's pupils asked him how he knew what he was teaching them, he just said that these were traditions from Moshe at Mount Sinai, hidden traditions passed down by word of mouth, and not written explicitly in the Torah. The Torah in the time of Moshe, on the other hand, was easier to see. The 10 Commandments were spoken by God to the entire Jewish people, and the Zohar says that the Jewish people were taught all the 613 commandments of the Torah from their roots in these 10 commandments. Rav Nachman of Breslov takes this distinction a stage further. He says that the Torah of Rabbi Akiva was hidden because it was taught at a time when God's glory was hidden. Rabbi Akiva lived through the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans and had to console his broken-hearted companions at the sight of Temple Mount looking desolate and ruined. Moshe's Torah was more open because it was given in a time when God's glory was more apparent. The Jews in his time had lived through the Exodus and were being sustained by manna from heaven and water from a rock. These two modes of God's glory in our world, the hidden and the revealed, are alluded to in Kedusha, said in the repetition of the Amidah. In this responsive prayer, the congregation has the privilege of praising God with the words of the angels. The first line of praise, beginning Kadosh, 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 means Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole world is full of his glory. This is the angelic praise recounted in Isaiah chapter 6. In this stage of the Kedusha, there is no question about God's glory. It is apparent on earth, and that is that. The second line depicts lesser angels with a lesser perception of God's glory, narrated by the prophet Ezekiel in chapter 3. These angels know that the whole world is suffused with God's glory, but there is something not clear. They ask a question that we narrate in the Shabbat and Yom Tov Musaf Amidah. Ayeh Makom Kavodah. Where is the place of God's glory? They feel somehow distanced from God in a way that the angels mentioned by the prophet Isaiah did not. The answer to the question is Baruch Kvod Hashem Mimkomo. Blessed is the glory of the Lord from his place. They cannot find God's glory. They cannot find that kavod and have to content themselves with receiving it from wherever it may come. We can understand that these two modes of interaction between God and us, God hidden and God revealed, are the two states that we find ourselves in from Pesach to Shavuot. On Pesach, God's glory was revealed to us. As the Haggadah says, God came to us bichvodo uve'atzmo, in his glory, him alone. But then after the Exodus, God became more hidden. We were in the desert, and compared to the spectacular success of the Exodus, this was a harder life. We sank to the level of Ayeh Mukom Kavodah. Where is the place of God's glory? Where is God? And this was a deliberate strategy from God. He wanted us to grow spiritually and to forge a relationship with him. He wanted us to seek him out even amidst the threats and the mystery of our time in the Sinai desert. We had to travel for 7 weeks into an uncertain future, living day to day, learning to relate to God even when he is hidden. This was the task given to us during the 7 weeks of the Omer when we travelled from Egypt to Mount Sinai. We passed this test. We arrived at Mount Sinai ready to receive the glory of the divine presence revealed once again in the world and conveyed through the Torah given openly to us all. During a time of divine revelation, when the kavod, the glory of God, is apparent, it is easy for us to accord kavod to one another. A human is, after all, made in God's image. When God's presence is clear in our lives, we are attuned to seeing him, and we see him more readily in others. Besides, we live in a holier state, and the divine spark in us all shines that bit brighter. On the other hand, in times when God's presence is hidden, when we question where is God, our spirit is subdued. We feel cast adrift from the divine plan. We do not feel or discern God's guiding hand. We don't see him so readily in others, and we personally don't reflect his holiness in the way we behave. Thus it was with the students of Rabbi Akiva. Their Torah was learned in a time when God's kavod was tremendously obscured. His temple was destroyed, and God did not lift a finger to stop this terrible time. They struggled, therefore, to grant kavod to one another, and they died in the time when this kavod was harder to access. Conversely, we see that when the Jewish people camped at the foot of Mount Sinai, when Shavuot came, it was Vayichen Yisrael neged har. The Torah does not say, and they camped at the foot of the mountain, but, and he camped at the foot of the mountain. The Jewish people as a whole, all 2 million of us, were referred to in the singular because they were united and of one mind. They had learned to give each other kavod because this was the time when the Jews had rediscovered the glory, the kavod of God in their world. Those 7 weeks of travel from Pesach to Shavuot, from Egypt to Mount Sinai, were not in vain. It is such a beautiful thing that we too mourn the pupils of Rabbi Akiva every year. We show by this that their struggle is our struggle. We too are enlisted in the great campaign to reveal God's glory in the world, and to ensure that by the time Shavuot comes, we will be ready to behold it once again in the pages of the Torah and in every moment of our lives. Our work up to that point during the Omer is to excel in finding the reflection of divine glory in one another and in the world. The coronavirus lockdown tempts us to exclude God altogether from our worldview. Once again, we Jews and the whole world are in a time of tremendous darkness when divine glory is all but obscured altogether. We feel at the mercy of a microscopic creature that has claimed tens of thousands of lives, arrested our culture and our economy, and whose legacy of destruction and fear will be felt for years to come. Where is God in all of this? How much more urgent, then, is the need for us to discern the reflection of the divine presence in others, to treat them with consideration and courtesy, to make them feel appreciated, and to express gratitude and admiration for the good that they do. And how much more so, then, must we also discern the reflection of God in ourselves, nurturing and celebrating our own impulses to help others, to pray and to learn Torah as best we can. This is how we can use the dark time of the Omer well, so that when Shavuot comes, we will be united in a blaze of divine glory, ready to receive the Torah once again in a world where God's presence is clear for all to see. Thank you for listening. Take care and stay safe.